Addressing the IRS situation. Listen, a lot of y'all don't understand how this shit work because y'all not on that tax bracket, right? What happened was that I didn't report my taxes for 2020, 21, 22, and 23. Those years, I done paid $6 million, $2 million in 2018, $1.3 million 2019. For the year of 2020, I'm at 1.8 million. Over $6 million went to the IRS. Like I said, when you make over a certain amount of money, I think they tax you in the state of New York.
Is Tekashi 6IX9INE finally facing the day his chaotic lifestyle catches up with him? Lately, the internet has been buzzing with talk that the self-proclaimed King of New York has reached a breaking point, and not just with his music or feuds, but with something far more serious. Rumors are flying that the IRS came knocking on his door, rattling the foundation of his flashy persona and forcing fans to ask whether his endless flexing was just a front. Some say he's flat out broke, while others insist it's all part of his act. But one thing is certain, everyone wants to know how this wild showdown with the tax authorities unfolded, and whether Tekashi can bounce back from yet another massive scandal.
Yeah, he's gotta pay rent tomorrow, so it's cool to hate, but remember you gotta clock in at 9 a.m. You gotta clock in at 9 a.m. tomorrow, you gotta clock out at 5 p.m.
Whispers first started when Tekashi's name showed up in chatter about a government auction. Certain online sleuths noticed that some big-ticket jewelry was being sold under strange circumstances, and speculation pointed right to Tekashi's stash of colorful diamond pieces. Before long, rumors swirled that federal agents had raided his home, seized his entire collection of iced-out bling, and were putting it on the market for bidders. That meant his trademark rainbow-style jewelry, the very pieces he loved flaunting on social media, were going for sale to whoever could offer the right price. Even the mention of an IRS raid caused an uproar among fans. Some posted memes mocking Tekashi, saying it was only a matter of time before authorities came for him. Others felt it was an elaborate stunt, one of his many attempts to stir controversy. Either way, a lot of folks took special pleasure in watching him face an embarrassing situation. The flashy rap star, famous for brazen confidence and constant trolling, was suddenly on the brink of losing his prized possessions. But that wasn't the whole story. Soon more details emerged that gave everyone a clearer picture. People started noticing that not only had Tekashi's jewelry been confiscated, but there were also hints that his properties, including his house, might be on the line. Even the possibility of a forced sale circulated online. For a rapper who built his image around being untouchable, it was a humbling turn of events.
Yo, Whack, 6ix9ine broke or nah?
Yeah, he broke as a mother. 6ix9ine ain't got nothing, man. Over there doing bad, bro. I had to send it $20 for some gas, man.
So why would the IRS make Tekashi 69 a prime target? Well, the man behind the rainbow hair apparently took some big risks with his taxes. Word got out that he hadn't been paying what he owed for multiple years in a row. Whether it was 2020, 2021, 2022, or beyond, Tekashi reportedly skipped filing on time, despite making massive amounts of money in that period. Boasts about million-dollar deals or stacks of cash mean nothing if the government doesn't see its share. And the IRS clearly doesn't mess around. Still, people wondered, how could someone who brags so much about wealth fail to pay taxes? Some believed it was mere negligence. Maybe he got so caught up in the glitz of fame that he neglected proper accounting. Others suspected a deliberate dodge, pointing to Tekashi's track record of living on the edge. A certain group, however, insisted that he might actually not be as rich as he claims, so the idea of paying huge sums in taxes terrified him. After all, if you only have illusions of big money, those IRS bills would be crippling. Just when everyone thought it couldn't get more complicated, Tekashi offered his own spin. He claimed that he had paid millions to the IRS in the past. He insisted that he simply didn't file the paperwork or keep up with his responsibilities for a few years. According to him, it wasn't that he had no intention of paying. It was just a bureaucratic nightmare, combined with legal and immigration issues that left him stuck in a situation where the IRS assumed he was evading them. But to many observers, this was just more Tekashi talk. Loud, defensive, and short on credibility. Naturally, the internet exploded with reactions. Tekashi wouldn't be Tekashi if he stayed quiet. so he hopped onto social media to blast out his version of events. He insisted he wasn't broke, far from it in fact. He posted clips of himself, flaunting cash, claiming the IRS raid was merely a misunderstanding. In a string of live streams, he blamed everyone else. The government, the state of New York, and even the president for raising taxes too high. He said he couldn't file properly because he'd been stuck outside the US with travel issues, and the feds had confused that with him trying to skip out. But the more he tried to defend himself, the more people dug up evidence that contradicted his claims. Many remembered him testifying in court about not being able to pay for his lawyers. Some fans were quick to call him out for bragging about paying $6 million in taxes when, in the same breath, he talked about not having enough money to handle certain bills. It was a messy tangle of contradictions, leaving fans and haters alike to wonder where the truth ended and the trolling began. Some online comments were downright brutal. Tekashi's critics roared that karma was catching up to him, pointing to his endless feuds and insults toward others. Memes portrayed him wearing a pitiful expression, while Uncle Sam hovered behind him with a giant net. Yet loyal fans jumped in too, claiming the entire fiasco was a staged publicity stunt to keep Tekashi's name hot. They argued that he must be wealthier than any of us realize because nobody fake broke can keep up such a controversial, high-profile lifestyle. This isn't the first time Tekashi has faced major financial strain. Only a couple of years back, he made headlines for telling a judge that he had essentially run out of money. Court documents from 2022 featured him lamenting that he barely had funds left to meet his obligations. Record labels, merchandise deals, everything he counted on to be a gold mine had apparently dried up. He even suggested that if things didn't turn around, he'd end up completely bankrupt, which would spell catastrophe for his family. Just to make matters worse, Tekashi also found himself tied up in a messy civil lawsuit from a stripper who accused him of injuring her by chucking a champagne bottle that collided with her head. Reports floated around that a judge ordered him to pay around $10 million in damages. If that weren't extreme enough, the same judge supposedly authorized the seizure of Tekashi's car collection, as well as other expensive toys in his name. Losing a Rolls Royce or a Florida mansion is no small matter, even for a big-talking rapper with millions of fans. On top of this, Tekashi had previously claimed in other cases that he was barely receiving royalty checks. The constant swirl of legal trouble combined with questionable money management put him under a financial microscope. Everybody wanted answers. Was this part of some elaborate act? Or had Tekashi gotten himself into a financial mess too deep to climb out of? If Tekashi was trying to hide the truth, his ex-friends did him no favors. One of his old business partners came forward, revealing that Tekashi had once begged for a loan to rent a lavish content house and buy handfuls of Birkin bags. Why Birkins? Allegedly, they were meant for random women he was parading around on social media, all in an attempt to make his former girlfriend jealous. This same ex-pal claimed Tekashi had managed to secure a multi-million-dollar deal to stream video games online. However, true to Tekashi's roller coaster pattern, he burned through the money in no time and ended right back where he started, flat broke, or so the rumors said. Then there's Wack 100, who played the role of Tekashi's manager or advisor at various points in his career. He made a startling appearance on a popular radio show where he insisted Tekashi was doing worse than people thought. Wack even claimed he once had to send a rapper gas money because he literally couldn't afford to fill up his tank. That story clashed heavily with Tekashi's social media posts, where he showed off duffel bags of cash. Skeptics saw it as proof that Tekashi was more about smoke and mirrors than actual wealth. These revelations piled onto the mountain of suspicion. How could someone who was truly flush with cash beg for tiny loans from friends and fail to pay for life's basic expenses? Fans started looking beyond the neon hair and loud outfits, wondering if Tekashi's entire brand had been built on shaky ground. Yet some insisted that Tekashi was simply putting on a spectacle, perhaps a brilliant marketing trick that ensured everyone kept talking about him, for better or worse. The most glaring issue in all these stories is Tekashi's habit of buying flashy items instead of investing in anything that grows value. Critics pointed out that most of what he owns, or claims to own, has no long-term worth. Diamond encrusted, chains, flamboyant pendant, custom cars that depreciate the minute they hit the road. Even the rappers' houses, which should be somewhat stable assets, were rumored to be at risk of forced sale. Meanwhile, folks compared him to wealthier celebrities and billionaires who rarely flaunt their assets in such a garish way. Many of those top earners focus on building capital through businesses, real estate, or stocks. Tekashi, on the other hand, seemed fixated on sensational stunts. Whether it was renting entire clubs just to prove a point or throwing money in the air at clubs, every move appeared designed to generate attention rather than actual security. This pattern sparked a question. Was Tekashi's downfall inevitable? He built his reputation on controversies and an in-your-face persona, but that approach has diminishing returns if there's no real stability behind the scenes. Once fans and onlookers started suspecting that he might be more broke than he let on, all the bravado in the world wouldn't keep the IRS from wanting its share, or keep courts from ordering him to pay massive damages in lawsuits. The more you poke at a hornet's nest, the more likely you are to get stung. So what's next for Tekashi 69? The IRS doesn't usually let people off easily, and his repeated failures to file taxes on time aren't something a few Instagram posts can fix. Even if he does manage to scrape together the cash to satisfy the government, he's still got legal issues, feuds, and a reputation to repair. His lavish persona helped him stand out from the competition, but it may also be the very thing sending him on a downward spiral. In a world where public image is everything, Tekashi's stories often live and die by the level of controversy they generate. Some fans remain loyal, convinced he'll have yet another dramatic comeback and reclaim his place in the spotlight. Others believe his 15 minutes of fame have finally run out, and this is just the beginning of a long, painful crash. Only time will tell if he can hustle his way back into prosperity, or if the IRS and his own over-the-top lifestyle will keep him pinned down for good. What do you think? Is Tekashi 6IX9INE genuinely on the brink of financial ruin, or is this all part of his latest performance art to keep the internet talking? Feel free to share your thoughts on whether his downfall was destined from the start, or if he's savvy enough to turn this crisis into yet another viral moment. Whichever way it goes, the world will be watching to see if he can transform the chaos he's created into something that doesn't end with another devastating bill from Uncle Sam. And if you're still craving more tea on the wild side of the rap world, stick around. There's plenty more drama where this came from. Remember, even the brightest stars can hide the most fragile hearts. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me next time for more untold moments behind the fame.